Jasmine's fingers trembled as she stared at the message glowing on her phone screen. The explicit words she had typed, the bold desires she had shared, were supposed to go to Marcus from the dating app. Instead, they sat in her boss's chat. Mr. Park, the cold Korean businessman who barely spoke to her, had read every single word about what she wanted to do to him. Her life was about to change in ways she never imagined. She stared at her phone screen, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might jump out of her chest. The message sat there in the chat, glowing like a neon sign in the darkness of her tiny bedroom. But it wasn't in Marcus's chat. It was in Mr. Park's chat. Her boss, the cold, silent Korean man who barely looked at her when she cleaned his massive Manhattan apartment. The message was explicit. Very explicit. The kind of message a woman sends to a man she wants to be intimate with, describing in detail what she wanted to do to him when they finally met in person. Jasmine had been texting with Marcus for 3 weeks, and tonight their conversation had gotten spicy. She had been bold, confident, typing out her desires while lying in bed after a long day of scrubbing floors and folding laundry. But her exhausted fingers had clicked the wrong chat. Both names started with M in her contacts. Marcus, Mr. Park. Oh no. No. Oh no. Jasmine whispered, her Ethiopian accent thickening with panic. She jumped out of bed, her braids flying around her face as she paced the small room she rented in Queens. It was 11 at night. Maybe he was asleep. Maybe he hadn't seen it yet. She could delete it. She grabbed her phone and tried to unsend the message, but the app wouldn't let her. The message had been delivered. Read. The 2 blue checkmarks mocked her from the screen. Jun-Suk Park had seen every word. Jasmine sent a flurry of apology messages, her fingers shaking so badly she had to retype several words. Mr. Park, I am so sorry. That message was not for you. Please forgive me. It was a terrible mistake. I understand if you want to fire me. I am so embarrassed. Please delete that message. I am so sorry. She sent 15 more messages, each one more desperate than the last. But Jun-Suk didn't respond. The messages showed as read, but no reply came. Jasmine didn't sleep at all that night. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, imagining how she would pack her things, how she would find a new job, how she would explain to her mother back in Addis Ababa that she lost her good job because of a stupid text message. At 6 in the morning, Jasmine dragged herself out of bed. She had to go to work. Maybe if she apologized in person, maybe if she begged, Mr. Park would let her keep her job. She needed this job. It paid better than any other cleaning position she had found in New York, and Mr. Park was usually never home during the day. She could clean in peace, listen to her music, and pretend she was invisible. That was how she liked it. Invisible and employed. She took the subway from Queens to Manhattan, her stomach twisting with anxiety the entire ride. When she arrived at the luxury apartment building on the Upper East Side, the doorman greeted her like always. Morning, Jasmine. Another beautiful day. She tried to smile, but her face felt frozen. She took the elevator to the 30th floor, her legs shaking with every passing floor. When the doors opened, she walked slowly down the hallway to Mr. Park's apartment. She used her key to unlock the door, expecting the usual silence. Mr. Park was never home this early. He left for his office before dawn and rarely returned before 8 at night. But when she stepped inside, Jun-Suk Park was standing in the kitchen. Jasmine froze. The apartment keys slipped from her fingers and clattered onto the marble floor. Jun-Suk turned to face her, and for the first time in 6 months of working for him, she saw something other than cold indifference on his face. He was almost smiling. Almost. Good morning, Jasmine. His voice was deep and smooth, with only a slight Korean accent. He wore black pants and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, showing strong forearms. His dark hair was slightly messy, as if he had been running his hands through it. He looked tired but alert, his dark eyes focused entirely on her. Mr. Park. Jasmine's voice came out as a squeak. She wanted to run, but her feet wouldn't move. I am so sorry about last night. I don't know what to say. It was a horrible mistake. Please forgive me. Jun-suk picked up a coffee cup from the counter and took a slow sip, watching her over the rim. That message was very interesting. Jasmine felt her face burn with shame. It wasn't meant for you. I was texting someone else. Clicked the wrong name. I would never, I didn't mean to. She couldn't finish the sentence. She wanted the floor to swallow her whole. I know it wasn't meant for me. Jun-suk set down his cup and walked toward her. He moved like a cat, silent and graceful. But I'm glad you sent it. Jasmine's brain stopped working. What? He stopped a few feet away from her, close enough that she could smell his cologne. Smelled like cedar and rain. For 6 months, I have watched you work in my home. I have noticed everything about you. The way you hum while you clean. The way you talk to my cat like he's a person. The way you arrange the books on my shelf by color even though I never asked you to. The way the morning sunlight comes through the window and makes your skin glow like gold. Jasmine's mouth fell open. Cold, silent Mr. Park had noticed her. Had been watching her. Jun-suk continued, his voice softer now. I have wanted to talk to you for months, but I didn't know how. You are my employee. It would be inappropriate. I thought you would think I was taking advantage of my position. So I stayed quiet. I stayed cold. I left you notes instead of speaking to you because I didn't trust myself to be near you without saying something I shouldn't. I don't understand, Jasmine whispered. Her heart was racing again, but for a completely different reason now. That message last night made me realize something. Jun-suk took one more step closer. Life is too short to hide what you feel. I have been hiding for 2 years, ever since my last relationship ended badly. I built walls around myself and let everyone think I was made of ice. But you melted those walls without even trying. Jasmine couldn't believe what she was hearing. You like me. I more than like you. Jun-suk's dark eyes locked onto hers. I think about you constantly. When I'm at work, I wonder what you're doing in my apartment. I come home and smell the lavender cleaner you use. And it makes me happy because it means you were here. I listen to Ethiopian music now because I heard you playing it once and wanted to understand what you love. Tears pricked at Jasmine's eyes. No one had ever said anything like this to her before. But I'm just your maid. You're rich and important. I clean toilets for a living. Jun-suk shook his head firmly. You are not just anything. You are smart and kind and beautiful. The work you do doesn't define your worth. I have met plenty of rich, important people who have ugly souls. You have a beautiful soul, Jasmine. I saw it the first day you started working here. Jasmine remembered that day 6 months ago. She had been so nervous, so desperate to make a good impression. She had scrubbed every surface until it sparkled, and when she finished, she found Mr. Park's cat hiding under the couch, scared and alone. She had spent an hour coaxing the cat out, talking softly to it in Amharic, her native language. She didn't know Mr. Park had been watching from his office doorway. What happens now? Jasmine asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Now we see if this connection between us is real. Jun-suk reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and tucked a loose braid behind her ear. His fingers brushed against her cheek, and Jasmine felt electricity shoot through her entire body. Have dinner with me tonight. Not as my employee. As a woman, I want to know better. If you feel nothing, if this is all in my head, then we forget this conversation happened and everything goes back to normal. But if you feel even a fraction of what I feel, then we explore it together. Jasmine looked up into his eyes and saw vulnerability there, raw and honest. This powerful man was taking a risk, opening himself up to possible rejection. She thought about the message she had sent, the bold words describing what she wanted. She had meant those words for Marcus, a man she barely knew from a dating app. But standing here in front of Jun-suk, feeling the warmth radiating from his body, seeing the hope in his eyes, she realized something. Maybe her fingers hadn't made a mistake last night. Maybe the universe had guided her to send that message to exactly the right person. Yes. The word came out strong and clear. I'll have dinner with you. Jun-suk's face transformed. The ice melted completely, replaced by a smile so warm and genuine that Jasmine felt her knees go weak. He looked years younger when he smiled, almost boyish. "Tonight, 7 o'clock. I'll pick you up from your apartment. You don't know where I live," Jasmine pointed out, feeling a small smile tug at her own lips. "Then write down your address." Jun-suk pulled out his phone and handed it to her. "And Jasmine, you don't have to clean today. Take the day off. Get ready for tonight. I want to show you the best evening of your life." Jasmine typed her address into his phone with trembling fingers. When she handed it back, their hands touched, and the spark between them was undeniable. She looked up at him, this man who had seemed so cold and distant for 6 months, and saw heat in his eyes. Real burning heat. He wanted her. Not for entertainment, not for a quick fling, but because he genuinely saw something special in her. "I'll see you tonight," she whispered. "I'm counting every hour until then," Jun-suk replied. Jasmine left the apartment in a daze, her mind spinning with everything that had just happened. The accidental text message that should have ruined her life had somehow opened a door to something incredible. As she rode the elevator down, she caught her reflection in the mirrored walls. Her eyes were bright, her cheeks flushed with excitement. She looked alive in a way she hadn't felt since moving to America 3 years ago. But a small voice in the back of her mind whispered a warning. What would people say? What would happen if this didn't work out? What if Jun-suk's feelings faded and she was left alone, unemployed and heartbroken? She pushed the thoughts away. Tonight was about possibility. Tonight was about taking a chance on something that could be extraordinary. When she got home, she called her best friend Rahima, who also worked as a maid in Manhattan. "You won't believe what just happened," Jasmine said as soon as Rahima answered. She told the entire story, and by the end, Rahima was screaming with excitement. "Girl, this is like a movie. You have to wear your best dress. Do your braids up fancy. Show him that you are a queen." Jasmine spent the rest of the day preparing. She styled her long braids into an elegant updo, applied makeup carefully, and put on a red dress she had been saving for a special occasion. The dress hugged her curves perfectly and made her dark skin look luminous. When she looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. She looked confident, powerful, beautiful. At exactly 7 o'clock, her phone buzzed. Jun-suk was downstairs. Jasmine grabbed her small purse and headed down to the street, her heart pounding with anticipation. When she stepped outside, she saw Jun-suk leaning against a sleek black car. He wore a dark suit that fit him perfectly, and when he saw her, his eyes widened. "You look stunning," he breathed, walking toward her. "Absolutely stunning. You look very handsome too," Jasmine replied, feeling shy suddenly. He opened the car door for her, and she slid into the leather seat. The car smelled expensive, clean and new. Jun-suk got in on the driver's side and pulled away from the curb smoothly. "I made reservations at a Korean restaurant I think you'll love. The owner is a friend of mine, and he promised me the best table in the house." During the drive they talked. Really talked. Jun-suk asked about her life in Ethiopia, her family, why she came to America. Jasmine told him about her mother and 3 younger siblings, how she sent money home every month to help pay for their schooling, how she dreamed of one day bringing them all to New York. He listened intently, asking thoughtful questions, making her feel heard in a way she rarely experienced. The restaurant was intimate and warm, with soft lighting and traditional Korean decorations on the walls. The owner greeted Jun-suk like an old friend and winked at Jasmine as he led them to a private corner table. Throughout dinner, Jun-suk taught her how to eat Korean barbecue, grilling meat at their table and showing her how to wrap it in lettuce with sauce. He told her about growing up in Seoul, about his strict parents who expected him to take over the family business, about moving to New York 5 years ago to prove he could succeed on his own terms. "My parents wanted me to marry someone they chose," Jun-suk said, his expression darkening slightly. A woman from a good Korean family who would give them grandchildren and never question their decisions. I was engaged once, to a woman named Su-min. She was beautiful and accomplished, but we didn't love each other. She cared more about fame and status than building a real partnership. When she left me for her career 2 years ago, my parents blamed me. They said I wasn't good enough to keep her. That hurt more than the breakup itself. Jasmine reached across the table and touched his hand. You are more than good enough. She was foolish to leave you. Jun-suk turned his hand over and laced his fingers through hers. I stopped believing in love after that. I focused only on work, on building my hotel empire, on proving to my parents that I didn't need their approval. But then you walked into my life with your bright smile and kind heart, and suddenly I remembered what it felt like to want something more than success. I wanted connection. I wanted you. They talked until the restaurant closed, losing track of time completely. When they finally left, Jun-suk drove her home but parked outside her building, not ready for the night to end. They sat in the car talking for another hour, the conversation flowing easily from serious topics to silly jokes. Jasmine learned that Jun-suk loved old movies and terrible puns. He learned that she was afraid of pigeons and dreamed of opening her own business someday. I should let you go, Jun-suk finally said reluctantly. It's late. I don't want tonight to end, Jasmine admitted. Neither do I. He turned to face her fully. Can I see you again? Tomorrow. And the day after. And every day after that. Yes, Jasmine smiled. But what about work? Am I still your maid? Jun-suk thought for a moment. I'll hire a cleaning service for my apartment. I want to see you as an equal, not as my employee. That way there's no power imbalance between us. You can find a different job if you want, or I can help you start that business you mentioned. Whatever you choose, I'll support you. Tears filled Jasmine's eyes again. You barely know me, and you're already offering to change my life. I know enough. Jun-suk cupped her face gently. I know that you're special. That message you sent last night, those bold, confident words, that's the real you under all the shyness and doubt. I want to know that woman. I want to explore this fire between us and see where it leads. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away, and pressed his lips to hers. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, but when Jasmine kissed him back, it deepened into something urgent and passionate. Heat flooded through her body, and she grabbed his shirt, pulling him closer. They kissed until they were both breathless, until the windows fogged up and the world outside disappeared. When they finally broke apart, Jun-suk rested his forehead against hers. This is just the beginning for us, Jasmine. Can feel it. Something extraordinary is starting right now. Jasmine nodded, unable to speak. She felt it too. The accidental message had become the best mistake of her life. As she floated up to her apartment, she knew that everything was about to change. She had no idea that the road ahead would test them in ways she couldn't imagine, that forces would try to tear them apart, that loving Jun-suk would require more courage than she ever knew she had. But tonight, in this perfect moment, all she felt was hope and possibility and the lingering warmth of his kiss on her lips. 3 months passed like a dream. Jasmine and Jun-suk spent every possible moment together, but they kept their relationship completely secret. He worried that people would judge her, would say cruel things about her only dating him for money. She worried that his business partners would look down on him for dating a former maid. So they created a private world, just the two of them, hidden from everyone else. Their time together was magical. Jun-suk would pick her up after dark, and they would drive to quiet places where no one knew them. They had picnics in Central Park late at night, walked along the Hudson River holding hands, and explored small restaurants in neighborhoods far from the Upper East Side. In his apartment, which Jasmine still had a key to even though she no longer cleaned there, they would cook together, dance to music from both their cultures, and talk for hours about everything and nothing. The physical connection between them was intense and overwhelming. That bold message Jasmine had accidentally sent became reality. They explored each other with passion and tenderness, learning what made each other gasp and sigh. Jun-suk was patient and attentive, making sure Jasmine felt worshipped and desired. She discovered a confidence in intimacy she never knew she had, becoming bold and playful in ways that made Jun-suk lose his famous self-control. "You've ruined me," he told her one night as they lay tangled together in his bed, her head on his chest, his fingers playing with her braids. "I can't focus at work anymore. I sit in meetings thinking about your laugh. I make business decisions wondering what you would think. You've completely taken over my mind." "Good." Jasmine kissed his chest, feeling powerful and loved. "You've taken over mine too." He taught her Korean words, laughing when she mispronounced them. She taught him phrases in Amharic, delighted when he tried to speak her language. They created their own little universe where nothing else mattered except the two of them. But secrets never stay hidden forever. Jasmine found a new job working at a small Ethiopian restaurant in Brooklyn. The owner, an older woman named Salam, treated her kindly and paid her fairly. One afternoon while Jasmine was taking orders, a tall Korean woman walked into the restaurant. She was stunning with long black hair, perfect makeup, and designer clothes that probably cost more than Jasmine made in a year. The woman looked around the restaurant with barely concealed disgust, her nose wrinkling at the spicy smell of berbera seasoning. "Can I help you?" Jasmine asked politely, approaching with a menu. The woman's cold eyes scanned Jasmine from head to toe. "Are you Jasmine?" Jasmine froze. "Yes." "Who are you?" "I'm Sumin, Jun-suk's fiancé." The woman smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I've heard about you. You're his ex," Jasmine corrected, her heart starting to pound. "He told me about you." Sumin laughed, a sharp sound like breaking glass. "Is that what he said? Oh sweet. Let me tell you something, girl. Jun-suk and I have history. Real history. We were going to get married, build a life together. I made one mistake by choosing my career first, but I'm back now to fix that mistake. He still loves me. He'll always love me. Whatever little thing you two have going on, it's temporary. You're a distraction, nothing more." "That's not true," Jasmine said, but her voice shook. "Jun-suk and I care about each other." "Care?" Sumin stepped closer, invading Jasmine's space. "You think care is enough? You're his maid. Sorry, his former maid. You clean things for a living. Jun-suk is from one of the richest families in Korea. His parents will never accept you. His business partners already talk about you behind his back. They call you his charity project. They laugh about how he's slumming it with the help." Each word hit Jasmine like a physical blow. "You're lying." "Am I?" Sumin pulled out her phone and showed Jasmine a series of messages. They were from Jun-suk's business partner, talking about how Jun-suk's relationship with a former employee was making clients uncomfortable, how it looked unprofessional, how it could hurt business deals. "I'm doing you a favor by warning you now. Get out before you get hurt worse. Jun-suk will eventually realize he made a mistake and come back to me. He always does." Before Jasmine could respond, Sumin turned and walked out of the restaurant, leaving Jasmine shaking and confused. She wanted to call Jun-suk immediately to tell him what happened, but her shift wasn't over for another 3 hours. She forced herself to keep working, smiling at customers while her mind spun with doubt and fear. That evening, when Jun-suk picked her up from work, she told him everything. His face went dark with anger. "Sumin is back. She came to your workplace. Is it true what she said?" Jasmine asked quietly. "Do your business partners think I'm your charity project?" Jun-suk gripped the steering wheel tightly. "I won't lie to you. Some people have said things. My business partner mentioned that dating you might look bad for my image. But I told him that my personal life is none of his business. Those people don't matter, Jasmine. Their opinions don't matter. But they do matter." Jasmine felt tears building. "They matter to your business. They matter to your reputation. I don't want to be the reason you lose respect or clients. You could never be that." Jun-suk pulled the car over and turned to face her. "Listen to me. Sumin is jealous and cruel. She left me without a second thought 2 years ago. And now that I'm happy with someone else, she wants to ruin it. Don't let her win by doubting us. Jasmine wanted to believe him, but Sumin's words had planted seeds of doubt that wouldn't go away. Over the next few weeks, those seeds grew. Sumin seemed to be everywhere. She showed up at Jun-suk's office building, at his favorite coffee shop, at the restaurant where he took Jasmine for their first date. She was always perfectly dressed, always confident, always reminding everyone that she and Jun-suk had history. Then Kwame arrived from Ethiopia. Jasmine's childhood friend appeared at her apartment door one Sunday morning, grinning widely. Surprise! I finally saved enough money to come to America. Jasmine hugged him, genuinely happy to see a face from home. Kwame was like a brother to her. They had grown up in the same neighborhood, played together as children, and stayed in touch through letters and occasional phone calls after she moved to New York. But as they caught up over coffee, Jasmine realized that Kwame saw their relationship differently. I came here for you, Kwame said, his expression turning serious. I've loved you since we were teenagers, Jasmine. I saved for 3 years to afford this trip because I wanted to ask you to marry me. I want to take care of you, bring you back home where you belong. Jasmine's stomach dropped. Kwame, I care about you, but as a friend. I'm seeing someone. Kwame's face darkened. Who? Tell me about him. Reluctantly, Jasmine explained about Jun-suk. She tried to make Kwame understand how special their connection was, how happy she felt. But with every word, Kwame's expression grew more angry and disappointed. A Korean man. Kwame stood up, pacing her small apartment. You came to America and forgot who you are. You're chasing after a rich man who will use you and throw you away. Do you think his family will accept you? Do you think he'll marry you? You're fooling yourself, Jasmine. He's playing with you. That's not true. Jasmine felt anger rising in her chest. You don't even know him. I know men like him. Kwame shot back. Rich, powerful men who think they can have anything they want. You're exotic to him. Different. But when he gets bored, he'll go back to his own kind. You should be with someone who truly understands you. Someone from your own culture. Someone like me. You need to leave. Jasmine stood up, trembling with emotion. I'm sorry you wasted your money coming here, but I don't love you that way. I love Jun-suk. Kwame stared at her for a long moment. His eyes filled with hurt and fury. You'll regret this. When he breaks your heart, don't come crying to me. He stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Jasmine collapsed on her couch, overwhelmed. In the space of a few weeks, her peaceful secret relationship had become complicated and stressful. Sumin's presence was a constant threat. Kwame's words echoed Sumin's warnings. And the worst part was, Jasmine was starting to wonder if they were right. She and Jun-suk fought for the first time that week. They were at his apartment, and Jasmine brought up her worries. Maybe we should tell people about us. If we hide, it makes it seem like we're ashamed. I'm not ashamed, Jun-suk said firmly. I'm protecting you from judgment. Or you're protecting yourself. The words came out harsher than Jasmine intended. Maybe you're embarrassed to be seen with me. Jun-suk looked hurt. How can you think that? Because you won't tell your parents. You won't tell your business partners. We sneak around like we're doing something wrong. Jasmine felt tears spilling down her cheeks. Sumin walks around openly claiming you're still hers, and you haven't done anything to shut her down publicly. I told her privately to leave us alone. Jun-suk argued. What more do you want? I want you to choose me publicly, Jasmine whispered. I want to know that you're not ashamed of us. They talked in circles for hours, both frustrated and scared. Finally, Jun-suk made a decision. Fine. I'll tell my parents about you. I'll fly to Seoul next week and tell them face to face that I'm in love with an Ethiopian woman and that I don't care what they think. Really? Jasmine felt hope bloom in her chest. Really? He pulled her into his arms. I'll prove to you that you're my priority. You're my future. Nothing else matters. They made love that night with an urgency born from fear of losing each other. Afterwards, as they lay wrapped together, Jun-suk whispered promises in her ear. "I'll fight for us. I'll fight anyone who tries to keep us apart." But neither of them knew that the real battle was about to begin. 2 days before Jun-suk was supposed to fly to Seoul, Jasmine received a message from an unknown number. It contained photos of Jun-suk and Soo-min at a hotel. The pictures looked intimate. They were standing close together in what appeared to be a hotel hallway. Another picture showed them entering a hotel room together. The timestamp on the photos said they were taken the previous night. Jasmine's world shattered. The previous night, Jun-suk had told her he was working late at the office. He had texted her around midnight saying he was finally heading home. But these photos showed him at a hotel with his ex-fiancée. She called him immediately. "Did you see Soo-min last night?" Jun-suk hesitated. "Yes. She showed up at my office demanding to talk. I told her to leave." "Did you go to a hotel with her?" Jasmine's voice was cold. "What? Well, I went straight home after she left my office." "Why?" He sounded genuinely confused. "Because I have pictures of you at a hotel with her. Pictures of you going into a hotel room together." Jasmine felt numb, like her body was moving through water. "That's impossible. Send me the photos," Jun-suk demanded. Jasmine sent them. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. Then Jun-suk spoke, his voice tight with anger. "These are fake. Photoshop. Jasmine, you have to believe me. I never went to a hotel with Soo-min. I would never do that to you." "They look real," Jasmine whispered. "They look very real. I swear on everything I hold sacred, I didn't do this. Soo-min must have created these photos to break us up. Don't let her win." Jun-suk sounded desperate now. "Please, Jasmine. Trust me." But Jasmine couldn't. The photos looked too real. The doubt that had been growing in her heart exploded into full certainty. Kwame was right. Soo-min was right. Jun-suk was a rich man playing games. And she was a fool for believing he could truly love her. "I can't do this anymore," Jasmine said, her voice breaking. "I can't compete with your past. I can't handle the judgment and the secrets, and now this. We're from different worlds, Jun-suk. Maybe we should have never tried to bridge that gap." "Don't say that." Jun-suk's voice cracked. "Don't give up on us because of fake photos and other people's opinions. I love you, Jasmine. I love you more than I've ever loved anyone. I'm sorry." Jasmine hung up before he could say anything else. She turned off her phone and packed a bag. She couldn't stay in her apartment. Jun-suk knew where she lived. He would come looking for her, and she couldn't face him. Not now. Maybe not ever. She called Rahima, who immediately offered her couch. Jasmine moved her essential belongings that night and left no forwarding information. She blocked Jun-suk's number, deleted his messages, and tried to erase him from her life. It felt like cutting off a limb, painful and wrong, but she convinced herself it was necessary. Kwame found her at Rahima's apartment 3 days later. He held her while she cried and told her he would take care of her. "Come back to Ethiopia with me. Forget about this place. Forget about him." For the first time, Jasmine considered it. Maybe running away was the answer. Maybe she was never meant to find love in America. Maybe she should go home where life was simpler, where she understood the rules, where she wouldn't have her heart broken by men who lived in different worlds. But even as she thought about leaving, her heart screamed in protest. Because despite everything, despite the photos and the doubt and the pain, a part of her still loved Jun-suk, still believed in what they had shared, still hoped that somehow this nightmare could be fixed. Jun-suk stood outside Jasmine's apartment building for the 3rd night in a row, but she wasn't there. The landlord finally told him that Jasmine had moved out suddenly, left no forwarding address, and hadn't said where she was going. He tried calling her phone, but it went straight to a message saying the number was no longer in service. She had completely disappeared from his life. He went to the Ethiopian restaurant where she worked, But Salam told him that Jasmine had quit without explanation. She seemed very sad. Salam said, her eyes sympathetic. Whatever happened between you two, you should fix it. That girl loves you. I could see it every time she talked about you. I'm trying to fix it, Jun-suk said desperately. But I can't find her. He hired a private investigator, but even with professional help, Jasmine remained hidden. She had vanished into the vastness of New York City, and Jun-suk felt like he was losing his mind. He stopped sleeping properly. Food tasted like ash. Work became meaningless. His business partner commented on his distracted state during important meetings, but Jun-suk didn't care. Without Jasmine, nothing mattered. His cat, a gray tabby named Cloud, stopped eating. The animal wandered around the apartment meowing sadly, searching for Jasmine in all the places she used to sit. Jun-suk would find Cloud sleeping on the sweater Jasmine had left behind, and the sight made his chest ache with longing. He focused his energy on finding out who had created those fake photos. He suspected Soo-min, but he needed proof. He called in favors from tech-savvy friends and hired a forensic expert to analyze the images Jasmine had received. Within a week, they confirmed what he already knew. The photos were sophisticated fakes. Someone had taken real pictures of him and Soo-min from different occasions and manipulated them to look like they were together at a hotel. Armed with this proof, Jun-suk confronted Soo-min at her luxury apartment in Manhattan. She opened the door wearing a silk robe, clearly expecting someone else. When she saw his face, cold with fury, her confident smile faltered. "Did you create fake photos of us to destroy my relationship?" Jun-suk demanded, pushing past her into the apartment. "I don't know what you're talking about," Soo-min said, but her voice wavered. "Don't lie to me." Jun-suk pulled out his phone and showed her the forensic analysis. "I have proof. You took photos of us from my business events, and from that day you ambushed me at my office, and you manipulated them to make it look like we were at a hotel together. You sent them to Jasmine to break us up." Soo-min's mask cracked. "So what if I did? She doesn't deserve you. You belong with me, Jun-suk. We were perfect together until I made one mistake. I was young and stupid, but I've grown up now. I know what's important. We could get back everything we had." "We had nothing," Jun-suk said coldly. "Our relationship was an arrangement our parents wanted. We never loved each other. I tried to make it work, but you left the moment something shinier came along. And now that your career isn't going as well as you hoped, you want to use me as a backup plan." "That's not true." Soo-min reached for him, but he stepped back. "I do love you. More than she ever could. Jasmine loves me in a way you can't comprehend." Jun-suk's voice was steel. "She saw me, not my money or my status. She made me laugh. She made me feel alive for the first time in years. And you destroyed that because you're selfish and cruel. She was never going to work out," Soo-min shouted. "Your parents would have rejected her. Your business partners were already talking. I did you a favor by ending it before you got in too deep. You did nothing but prove that you're exactly who I thought you were." Jun-suk turned toward the door. "I'm going to expose what you did. I'm going to tell everyone about the fake photos, about your harassment. Your reputation will be destroyed." "You wouldn't." Soo-min's face went pale. "Watch me." Jun-suk walked out, slamming the door behind him. He made good on his threat. He posted the forensic evidence on social media, explaining what Soo-min had done. He gave interviews to gossip blogs, not caring about his privacy anymore. All he cared about was clearing his name so that if Jasmine ever heard about it, she would know the truth. Soo-min's carefully crafted image crumbled. Acting roles she had lined up were cancelled. Brand partnerships ended. The public turned against her for her manipulation and lies. But none of it brought Jasmine back. 3 weeks after Jasmine disappeared, Jun-suk got a call from his younger sister Ji-yeon, who lived in Seoul but was visiting New York for business. They met at a coffee shop, and Ji-yeon studied his haggard appearance with concern. "You look terrible," she said bluntly. Jian had always been direct. Tell me everything. Jun-suk told her the whole story, from the accidental text message to Jasmine's disappearance. Jian listened intently, her expression growing more sympathetic with each detail. You really love her, Jian said when he finished. It wasn't a question. More than anything, Jun-suk admitted. I would give up everything for her. The business, the money, all of it. None of it means anything without her. Did you tell her that? Jian asked. I tried, but she wouldn't listen. She thinks we're from different worlds that can't be mixed. Jun-suk rubbed his tired eyes. Maybe she's right. Don't be stupid. Jian slapped his arm. If you love her that much, you fight harder. You find her and you make her listen. But first I need to know. Have you told our parents about her? Jun-suk shook his head. I was planning to, right before everything fell apart. Now there's no point. There's every point. Jian pulled out her phone. I'm going to help you find Jasmine. But you need to be ready to go all in. That means telling mom and dad. That means standing up to anyone who questions your choice. That means proving to Jasmine that she's your priority above everything else. Can you do that? Yes, Jun-suk said without hesitation. I'll do anything. Jian smiled. Good. Because I think I know how to find her. Jian had connections through her work in international business. She had friends who knew people in various immigrant communities throughout New York. She put out discreet feelers, asking if anyone knew an Ethiopian woman named Jasmine who had recently relocated. Took a week, but finally someone responded. They had seen Jasmine working at a small grocery store in the Bronx. Jun-suk wanted to rush there immediately, but Jian stopped him. No. You going there will just make her run again. Let me talk to her first. Woman to woman. I'll show her the proof that the photos were fake. I'll explain everything. Then if she wants to see you, I'll bring her to you. Jun-suk agreed reluctantly. The waiting was torture. He paced his apartment, imagining every possible outcome. What if Jasmine refused to see him? What if she had moved on? What if she hated him now? 2 days later, Jian called him. I found her. We talked for hours. She's hurt and scared, but she still loves you. I showed her all the evidence about Sumin's manipulation. She cried when she realized she had doubted you. Where is she? Jun-suk grabbed his car keys. I'm coming right now. She's not ready to see you yet, Jian said gently. She needs time to process everything. But there's something you need to know. While you were looking for her, Kwame has been trying to convince her to go back to Ethiopia with him. He tells her every day that you don't really love her, that she should give up on America and come home. She's confused and vulnerable right now. Jun-suk felt panic rise in his throat. I can't lose her to him. Then you need to do something big, Jian said. Something that shows her beyond any doubt that she's your future. I suggest starting with mom and dad. That night, Jun-suk called his parents in Seoul. The conversation was difficult and painful. His mother cried. His father shouted. They said everything Jun-suk expected them to say. That Jasmine wasn't suitable. That their family had a reputation to maintain. That he was throwing away his future for a woman he barely knew. I've known her for almost a year. Jun-suk interrupted his father's rant. And in that time, she's shown me more genuine love and kindness than anyone else in my life. She doesn't care about my money or status. She sees me for who I really am and she loves me anyway. If you can't accept her, then you're choosing to lose me. You would turn your back on your family for this woman? His mother asked, her voice thick with emotion. I would turn my back on anyone who tries to keep us apart. Jun-suk said firmly. I'm going to marry Jasmine if she'll have me. You can either be part of our lives or not. That's your choice. He hung up feeling drained but also liberated. He had finally stood up to his parents in a way he never had before. Whatever happened next, he knew he had been honest and true to himself. Jian texted him later that night. I told Jasmine what you did. She's crying again, but good tears this time. I think she's ready to see you. When? Jun-suk typed back immediately. Tomorrow. I'll bring her to your apartment at 6 o'clock. Don't mess this up, big brother. Jun-suk spent the next day preparing. He cleaned his apartment until it sparkled. He bought Jasmine's favorite Ethiopian food from a restaurant in Brooklyn. He printed out all the evidence of Sumin's manipulation so Jasmine could see it with her own eyes. He wrote a speech in his head, planning exactly what he would say to convince her to give him another chance. But when 6 o'clock came and went with no sign of Ji-yeon or Jasmine, Jun-suk felt his carefully controlled hopes start to crumble. At 6:30 his phone rang. It was Ji-yeon. She's not coming, his sister said, and Jun-suk's heart stopped. She got scared at the last minute and bolted. But I know where she went. She went to the airport. Kwame convinced her to fly back to Ethiopia with him tonight. Their flight leaves at 9. Jun-suk looked at his watch. It was 6:35. He had less than 2.5 hours to get to the airport and stop Jasmine from leaving the country. Which airport? JFK. Terminal 4. Flight to Addis Ababa. Yun said. Go get her, brother. Don't let her run away from the best thing that ever happened to either of you. Jun-suk grabbed his keys and ran out of his apartment. He drove through New York traffic like a man possessed, weaving between cars, ignoring honking horns and angry shouts. He made it to JFK in 45 minutes, a trip that should have taken over an hour. He abandoned his car in a no-parking zone and sprinted into the terminal. The board showed that the flight to Addis Ababa was boarding at gate 27. Jun-suk ran through the airport, his lungs burning, his heart pounding. He reached the gate just as the final boarding call was announced. He scanned the waiting area desperately, looking for Jasmine's face in the crowd of passengers. And then he saw her. She was standing at the gate entrance with Kwame, her boarding pass in hand. She looked small and sad, her shoulders slumped in defeat. Kwame had his arm around her, guiding her toward the jetway. Jasmine! Jun-suk shouted. She turned, and when she saw him, her face crumpled. Jun-suk! He ran to her, not caring that everyone was staring. Don't get on that plane. Please. You shouldn't be here, Jasmine said, but her voice lacked conviction. I'm going home. It's better this way. It's not better. Jun-suk was breathing hard from his sprint through the airport. It's the worst thing that could happen. Jasmine, I love you. I have loved you from the moment you sent me that accidental message. I love your laugh and your kindness and the way you see beauty in small things. I love how you talk to my cat and how you hum when you're happy. I love every single part of you. But your family. Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. Your business. Your world. I don't fit into any of it. Then I'll build a new world. Jun-suk took her hands. I already told my parents about you. I told them I choose you over everything. I exposed Sumin's lies publicly, even though it hurt my reputation. I don't care about any of that. All I care about is you. Please don't leave me. Please give us another chance. Kwame stepped forward. She's made her choice. She's coming home with me. Have you made your choice, Jasmine? Jun-suk ignored Kwame, keeping his eyes locked on the woman he loved. Or is this Kwame's choice? What does your heart tell you? Jasmine looked between the two men. Kwame represented safety, familiarity, going back to a life she understood. Jun-suk represented risk, uncertainty, but also love that made her feel truly alive. She thought about the months they had spent together, the way he looked at her like she was precious, the way he made her laugh, the way his touch set her skin on fire. She thought about building a life with him, facing challenges together, creating something beautiful from two different worlds merging into one. My heart says stay, Jasmine whispered. Jun-suk pulled her into his arms and kissed her in front of everyone. The gate agents, the other passengers, Kwame, they all watched as two people from opposite sides of the world found their way back to each other. When they finally broke apart, both were crying. I'm so sorry I doubted you. Jasmine said. I'm sorry I ran away. I'm sorry I didn't fight harder to show you how much you mean to me sooner. Jun-suk wiped her tears gently. But I'm fighting now. I'm fighting for us every day from now until forever. Kwame stood frozen, his face a mask of hurt and anger. You're making a mistake, Jasmine. Maybe. Jasmine turned to face him. But it's my mistake to make. I'm sorry, Kwame. You deserve someone who loves you the way I love Jun-suk. That person isn't me. I hope you find her. Kwame stared at her for a long moment, then turned and walked away without another word. The gate agent announced that the doors were closing. Jasmine watched her boarding pass slip from her fingers and flutter to the ground. She wasn't getting on that plane. She was staying here in this crazy city, with this man who had captured her heart. Take me home, she told Jun-suk, lacing her fingers through his. Always, he said, and led her out of the airport, back into their complicated, beautiful, challenging life together. They both knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they also knew that together they could face anything. The next morning, Jun-suk woke up with Jasmine sleeping peacefully in his arms. Sunlight streamed through the bedroom windows, casting golden light across her face. He watched her sleep, still hardly believing she had stayed, that she had chosen him despite everything working against them. When her eyes finally fluttered open and she smiled at him, his heart felt so full he thought it might burst. Good morning, she whispered, her voice still sleepy. The best morning of my life. He kissed her forehead. Because you're here. They spent the day reconnecting, talking through everything that had happened during their 3 weeks apart. Jasmine cried as she told him how much she had missed him, how empty she had felt without him. Jun-suk held her and promised he would never let her feel that way again. I need to do something, he said that afternoon. Something I should have done months ago. He made a video call to his parents in Seoul. When their faces appeared on the screen, their expressions were cold. But then Jun-suk turned the camera so they could see Jasmine sitting beside him on the couch. Mom, Dad, this is Jasmine, he said firmly. The woman I love. The woman I'm going to marry if she'll have me. Jasmine's eyes went wide. They hadn't talked about marriage yet. But Jun-suk squeezed her hand reassuringly. His mother studied Jasmine through the screen. You're the maid he told us about. I was his maid. Jasmine spoke up, her voice steady despite her nerves. But now I'm the woman who loves your son more than anything in this world. I know I'm not what you imagined for him. I know our cultures are different and I don't come from money or status. But I promise you I will spend every day making him happy. I will support his dreams and stand by him through everything. I will love him with my whole heart. There was a long silence. Then Jun-suk's father spoke. My son has never defied us before. He has always been obedient, always put family first. But when he called us about you, he was different. He was willing to lose everything for you. That kind of love is rare. We don't understand this relationship. His mother added. We don't understand how you two fit together. But we see that our son is miserable without you. When he talked about you even while arguing with us, his face lit up. We haven't seen him that animated in years. Does this mean you'll give us your blessing? Jun-suk asked hopefully. His father shook his head. Not yet. We need to meet her properly. We need to see this relationship for ourselves. Come to Seoul. Bring Jasmine. Let us get to know her. Then we'll decide. After the call ended, Jasmine turned to Jun-suk with wide eyes. Did you mean what you said about marriage? Every word. Jun-suk got down on one knee right there in the living room. He didn't have a ring yet, but he couldn't wait another moment. Jasmine, will you marry me? Will you be my partner in this crazy, beautiful life? Will you let me spend forever proving how much I love you? Yes. Jasmine laughed through happy tears. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. They kissed, and Cloud the cat meowed loudly, as if celebrating with them. Jun-suk spun Jasmine around, both of them laughing like children. They called Jiyeon to share the news, and she screamed so loudly they had to hold the phone away from their ears. "We need to buy you a proper ring," Jun-suk said. "And then we're going to Seoul to face my parents together." 3 days later they flew to Korea. Jasmine was terrified. She had spent hours researching Korean customs, learning basic phrases, practicing bowing properly. Jun-suk reassured her constantly, but she couldn't shake her nerves. What if his parents hated her in person? What if she said something wrong? The Park family home was enormous, a traditional Korean house in a wealthy neighborhood of Seoul. When they arrived, Jun-suk's mother opened the door. She was elegant and intimidating, her hair perfectly styled, her clothes expensive. She looked Jasmine up and down, her expression unreadable. "Welcome to our home," she said in careful English. "Please come in." The house was beautiful, with traditional decorations mixed with modern furniture. Jun-suk's father was waiting in the main room, sitting in a high-backed chair like a king on a throne. Jiyeon was there too, and she gave Jasmine an encouraging smile. For the next hour, Jun-suk's parents asked Jasmine questions. They wanted to know about her family, her education, her plans for the future. Jasmine answered honestly, not trying to be someone she wasn't. She told them about growing up poor in Addis Ababa, about watching her mother work 3 jobs to feed 4 children, about deciding to come to America to earn money to send home. "I have worked hard my whole life," Jasmine said. "I'm not afraid of challenges. I know that marrying your son means joining your family, learning your culture, meeting high expectations. I'm ready for all of that. But I also need you to know that I won't change who I am. I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud of my Ethiopian heritage. I hope that we can blend our cultures together instead of me having to give mine up." Jun-suk's mother's expression softened slightly. "You speak very honestly. I learned that from your son." Jasmine glanced at Jun-suk. "He taught me that being true to yourself is the most important thing." That evening the family had dinner together. It was awkward at first, but slowly the conversation began to flow more naturally. Jiyeon helped by asking questions that got everyone talking. Jasmine noticed that Jun-suk's parents watched how their son interacted with her. They saw how he held her hand under the table, how he made sure she had enough food, how he translated things she didn't understand. They saw love in action. After dinner, Jun-suk's mother invited Jasmine to walk in the garden with her, leaving the men inside. Jasmine's heart pounded as they walked among the carefully maintained plants and flowers. "My son is precious to me," Mrs. Park said quietly. "He is my oldest child, my only son. I have planned his life since he was born. I imagined him marrying a nice Korean girl from a good family, giving me grandchildren who would carry on our traditions. When he told me about you, I felt like all my plans were crumbling." "I understand," Jasmine said softly. "I'm sorry that I'm not what you wanted for him. But then I thought about what kind of life that would be for him." Mrs. Park continued. "A life planned by his parents, with no room for his own choices or happiness. Is that really what a mother should want? Should I trap my son in a cage of my expectations?" She stopped walking and turned to face Jasmine. "I see the way he looks at you. I see joy in his eyes that has been missing for years. You make him happy. You make him want to be a better person. How can I stand against that?" Tears filled Jasmine's eyes. "Are you saying you approve?" "I'm saying I'm willing to try." Mrs. Park smiled for the first time since they arrived. "I'm willing to get to know you better. I'm willing to learn about your culture. I'm willing to accept that my son's happiness might look different than what I imagined. But you must promise me something in return." "Anything," Jasmine said eagerly. "Promise me you'll take care of him. Promise me you'll build a strong family together. Promise me you won't let the challenges of blending 2 cultures tear you apart." Mrs. Park's eyes were serious. "This won't be easy. People will judge you. Both of your communities might reject you at times. You'll have to be stronger than most couples." "I promise," Jasmine said firmly. I love your son with everything I have. I will fight for our relationship every single day. Mrs. Park pulled Jasmine into an unexpected hug. Then welcome to our family. When they went back inside, Jun-suk saw their faces and knew something had changed. His mother nodded at him, giving her silent blessing. His father stood and shook Jasmine's hand formally, acknowledging her as his son's chosen partner. That night, lying in the guest room of the Park family home, Jun-suk held Jasmine close. I told you it would work out. I was so scared, Jasmine admitted. But your mother is kinder than I expected. She just needed to see you to understand what we have together. Jun-suk kissed her hair. Now we can move forward with our lives without that weight hanging over us. They stayed in Seoul for 2 weeks. Jasmine met extended family members, learned to cook Korean dishes from Jun-suk's mother, and visited beautiful temples and palaces. She fell in love with the city, understanding better where Jun-suk came from. And slowly, his family fell in love with her too. They saw her warmth, her intelligence, her genuine care for their son. When they returned to New York, they started planning their wedding. They decided on a ceremony that would honor both cultures, with traditional elements from both Ethiopia and Korea. The wedding would take place in 6 months, giving them time to prepare properly. But first, Jasmine had something she needed to do. She used money she had saved, combined with a loan from Jun-suk that she insisted on paying back, to open her own small business. She started a cleaning company that employed immigrant women, paying them fair wages and treating them with respect. She called it New Beginnings, and it quickly gained a reputation for excellent service and ethical practices. Jun-suk expanded his hotel business to include properties in Ethiopia, partnering with local businesspeople to create jobs and opportunities. He and Jasmine traveled to Addis Ababa together, and he met her mother and siblings. They were overwhelmed by his generosity when he offered to pay for her younger siblings' education. Jasmine's mother cried and blessed their union, grateful that her daughter had found such a good man. The news about their relationship went public, and not everyone was supportive. Some people in the Korean community criticized Jun-suk for marrying outside his culture. Some people in the Ethiopian community whispered that Jasmine was a gold digger. But for every negative comment, there were more people who celebrated their love story. Young couples from different backgrounds reached out to them, saying that seeing Jun-suk and Jasmine together gave them hope for their own relationships. Sumin's career never recovered from the scandal of her fake photos. She eventually left New York and returned to Korea, where she stayed out of the public eye. Jun-suk felt no satisfaction from her downfall, only relief that she could no longer interfere in his life. Kwame sent Jasmine a message months later, apologizing for how he had acted. He had met someone new in Ethiopia and was moving on with his life. Jasmine was happy for him and grateful that they could part as friends after all. The wedding day arrived on a beautiful spring afternoon. The ceremony took place in a garden venue that reminded Jasmine of Ethiopia's highlands, with flowers blooming everywhere and birds singing in the trees. Jasmine wore a traditional Ethiopian wedding dress in white with gold embroidery, and Jun-suk wore a mixture of Korean hanbok and a Western suit, symbolizing the blend of their cultures. Jian was Jasmine's maid of honor, and Jun-suk's best friend from college stood as his best man. Jasmine's mother and siblings had flown in from Ethiopia, sitting in the front row with tears streaming down their faces. Jun-suk's parents sat across the aisle, also crying, but with smiles on their faces. When Jasmine walked down the aisle, Jun-suk's breath caught in his throat. She was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. As she reached him and took his hands, he whispered, "I love you more than words can express. I love you to the stars and back." She whispered in return. They exchanged vows in both English and Korean, with translations provided for guests. They incorporated Ethiopian coffee ceremony traditions and Korean piebeak bowing ceremony traditions. It was a perfect blend of both their worlds, creating something entirely unique and beautiful. At the reception, people from both cultures mixed and mingled, sharing food and stories and laughter. Jun-suk's business partners who had once questioned his relationship now congratulated him sincerely, seeing how happy he was. Jasmine's friends from the Ethiopian restaurant where she used to work danced traditional dances, teaching Korean guests the steps. During his speech, Jun-suk stood and addressed everyone. Many people thought this relationship would never work. They said we were too different from worlds too far apart. But love doesn't see borders or cultures or skin colors. Love sees souls. And Jasmine's soul called to mine from the first moment we truly connected. That accidental text message was the universe telling me to wake up and notice the incredible woman who had been in my life all along. I'm grateful every day for that mistake that led to everything right. Jasmine stood to give her speech, her voice strong and clear. I came to America alone and scared, looking for a better life. I found that life, but not in the way I expected. I found it in a cold apartment where I scrubbed floors, and in the eyes of a man who everyone thought was made of ice but who had the warmest heart I've ever known. Jun-suk taught me that I deserve love, that I deserve respect, that my dreams matter. He stood up to his family for me, fought against people who judged us, and never once made me feel less than enough. That's the kind of man I'm proud to call my husband. They cut a cake that was half Korean rice cake and half Ethiopian honey cake, laughing as they fed each other and got frosting on their noses. They danced their first dance to a song that mixed Ethiopian rhythms with Korean melodies, something composed specially for them. As the night wound down and guests began to leave, Jun-suk and Jasmine stood together watching the stars come out. We did it, Jasmine said softly. We made it through everything and came out stronger. This is just the beginning. Jun-suk pulled her close. We have a lifetime of adventures ahead. I can't wait. Jasmine turned in his arms and kissed him deeply. For all of it, the challenges and the triumphs, the ordinary days and the extraordinary ones. All of it with you. 1 year later, Jasmine and Jun-suk were living in a beautiful home in Brooklyn, splitting their time between New York, Seoul, and Addis Ababa. Her cleaning company had grown to employ 50 women from various countries, all immigrants finding their footing in America. His hotel business was thriving, with a special focus on creating opportunities in developing countries. On a quiet Tuesday evening, they sat in their kitchen dancing to music playing from their phone, Cloud the cat watching them from his favorite perch on the counter. Jasmine's hand rested on her growing belly. She was 4 months pregnant with their first child, a baby who would be born into 2 cultures and blessed by both. Do you ever think about that night? Jun-suk asked, spinning her gently. When you sent that message to the wrong person? Jasmine laughed, her eyes sparkling. All the time. Best mistake I ever made. Best mistake I ever received. Jun-suk corrected, kissing her nose. It brought me you. They continued dancing in their kitchen, 2 people from opposite sides of the world who had found their way to each other through an accident that turned out to be fate. Their journey hadn't been easy, but every challenge had made their love stronger. They had faced judgment and doubt and forces trying to tear them apart, but they had held on to each other through it all. And now they were building a family, creating a future where their child would grow up understanding both cultures, speaking multiple languages, and knowing that love was the most powerful force in the universe. Their story would be told to their children and grandchildren, a tale of how an accidental text message to a cold Korean boss changed everything, melting the ice around his heart and creating a love story for the ages. In the end, they both understood that some mistakes were really just destiny in disguise, and that the most beautiful love stories often started in the most unexpected ways. If you enjoyed this journey of love across cultures, please subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming romance stories that celebrate the power of connection. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Tell us where you're watching from and what part of Jasmine and Jun-suk's story touched your heart the most. Your support means the world to us.